Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Женя Backin, and I'm a language teacher and teacher trainer. Actually, I'm a qualified CELTA trainer, and I'm currently based in Moscow. I'm a freelancer, and these days I do a lot of online teaching and training. And today we'll be talking about teaching language as it is, and we'll take a look at the very basics of what makes a good, solid language lesson. The plan for today is to take a look at two, possibly three different language lessons and analyze them from different perspectives and see what we can do or what the teacher could do better in that situation. Okay? The goal of this session would be to develop a list of criteria which we as professionals, as teachers, could apply to language lessons and our own work. And of course, this is not one-way communication. At some point, I'll be asking you questions, and hopefully you will be able to type up your answers in the chat box. Unfortunately, this is the only way we can communicate so far, because we have 200 people in the room, and it would be nearly impossible to break in chat rooms, or it will take time. And also, I don't think microphones is a good option for our purposes today. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see. We'll start with the first slide, and it's a very short question. If you understand what I'm saying, could you type up yes in the chat box, please? And I'll wait just a couple of seconds. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Thank you very much for responding. And now I can understand two things. One thing is, first, you do speak English, and that's great, and you understand me. And the second thing is technology is working okay, and you can hear me. So I'm testing technology now. And finally, actually, the third one, that you know where the chat box is, which means you know how you can communicate with me. Okay, great. We have about 200 people in the room, and if you have any question at some point, just type it up in the chat box. I'll try to address it as soon as possible. If I don't, just copy it again, because there might be quite a few questions. Okay, let's start. And we'll be talking about communicative teaching, generally speaking, and setting standards. So if we start thinking about a solid, successful language lesson, and I'm talking about a very general lesson, probably at a school level, but maybe at high school level, university level as well. So maybe private school as well, maybe one-on-one, but what makes a successful language lesson? And to set a standard is very important, because as soon as we have a standard, we can move on and we can improve and make our teaching and our students' learning better. So what could this be? Well, first of all, of course, there should be some language input. There should be some language, English in our case, but this could be French or German if we're talking about other languages. Maybe Russian is a foreign language. Apart from language input, clearly, we should start thinking about some practice. And could you tell me, from your perspective, what makes a successful language lesson? Could you give me a few more aspects in the chat box? Okay, just a few more aspects of a successful language lesson. What makes a successful language lesson in the chat box? Briefly, 2 or 3 should be enough from each of you. Motivation as both the student and the teacher. Probably a good plan. Yes, visualization. Atmosphere and environment, maybe feedback, and this could be content feedback and language feedback. Understanding is general, and I don't know what you mean by understanding. Achieved aims, which is a possibility, and of course we have inspiration, and we have good content, which is interesting topic, and desire, both, again, motivation, desire, both on the teacher and the student side. Yeah, and technology should be working in our circumstances at this stage, and probably content. Yes, you've named quite a few. But I think you've missed 1 or 2 very important things. I think, generally speaking, what you are saying is correct, but I think we could narrow down to some specific learner-centered features and aspects of a successful language lesson. And to double check that, we'll do the following. I will show you a short video clip. This is actually part of a lesson. And this is what happened at some school. And the lesson is called Welcome to India. And while watching the lesson, I want you to focus on a couple of things. First, I want you to avoid judgmental phrases, good, bad, strong, weak. Don't worry about evaluation so far. Instead, notice when pupils demonstrate interest, and this would be a real school lesson. And secondly, apart from interest or motivation, I want you to notice when pupils actually communicate naturally in English. And one more thing I want you to notice, be ready to tell what else you've noticed. So there will be quite a few things. This video clip lasts about 4 minutes, I think, and I want you to focus on 3 things. First, interest, when exactly students were interested in what was going on. Second, when students communicate. And third, some more aspects of some more ideas which you will notice. Okay, this is my lesson for you, and take a look. I would recommend you to start taking notes because it's a 4-minute video clip. So take a piece of paper and start taking notes, focusing on the 3 aspects: interest, motivation, communication, and something else. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Please stand up. I'm very happy to see you. Please sit down. Who can tell me what day is it today? Who can tell me? Yes, Sima?
Today is 17th of June.
Who can tell me which day of the week is it today? Which day of the week is it today? Day of the week. Day of the week, Tema? Today is Tuesday. Какое время у нас сегодня? Вспоминаю? Никак? Today is Thursday. Okay, very nice. Кто мне напомнит, какую тему мы проходим? What are you studying? Close. Today we will talk about India, and we will talk about Taj Mahal. Do you know Taj Mahal? Do you know Taj Mahal? Who heard of Taj Mahal? Кто слышал о Taj Mahal? Dima, have you heard of Taj Mahal? Не слышал. Okay. What do you know about India? What do you know about India? Что вы знаете об Индии?
Праздник Холи.
Праздник Холи, окей, Холи. Как сон будет? Okay, what else? Фильмы, Bollywood movies, yes, what else? Warm weather. Warm weather, yes, what else? Okay, sari, yes, what? Elephant. Elephant, yes. Daniel, have you heard of India? Dima? Что-нибудь слышал об Индии? No. Okay, so today, вы сейчас будете просматривать видео, you will watch a video and circle. Circle, yes. The correct answer. Yes. Let's take a look at the questions. Давайте посмотрим с вами на вопросы, чтобы помнили, о чем идет речь и что спрашивается. Вы можете писать перевод рядышком, это ваш листочек. Хорошо? Okay. First question. Можешь ручкой? First question. Okay, it's fine. First question. Who did build Taj Mahal? Who built Taj Mahal? Как вы думаете, что спрашивает вопрос? Who built? Built. Построил. Кто построил Taj Mahal? Да, у нас есть 3 версии. 3 версии. Посмотрите. Да, можете подписать рядышком перевод. Yes, you can. поближе. Если вам не видно. Okay? Next. Okay. So now we will check the answers. Now сейчас мы проверим с вами вопросы. У вас у каждого есть набор из карточек A, B, C. What is your answer for the first question? Who built Taj Mahal? The answer is A, B, or C. What are your responses? I can see A. Okay, let's see. Let's check. Let's check. Yes, that's true. You are right. The answer is A. Yes. Second one. How many years?
Okay, this is it. And as you might remember, I wanted you to take notes and collect information from this video. And first, in the chat box, would you let me know when students demonstrate interest? When did they actually have interest? Could you put in the chat box, please? Yes, Svetlana? Okay. Oh, cards a little bit. Yes, the video. Okay. Yeah. With translation and video. Interestingly, their motivation was not language related, or was it? It was not. They saw a video. Oh yeah, let's see what's going on. So it's not about language per se. Interestingly, and actually, the teacher asked them what they knew at that point about India, and then asked this in Russian, and then students or pupils, they started their little conversation, fidgeting on their in their chairs and trying to give their ideas, and they didn't have enough language. So okay, my second question was, when actually did students start to communicate? When did they start to communicate? When did the pupils communicate? Yeah. Very little, I would say, Yulia. Yeah, very little. They don't. And I've seen the whole lesson. Clearly, this was just some parts of the lesson, but actually they didn't communicate as much as they could. Unfortunately, okay, no communication at this lesson. Although the teacher was doing a great job trying to at least trying to do something. Okay, now let's focus on the last question. What else have you noticed? What else? And some of you have started writing and said, oh, instructions in Russian. What else did you notice? From different perspectives: motivation, atmosphere, environment, layout. Yeah, Sari, yes. The teacher, she's wearing nice clothes. Okay. A lot of Russian. We don't know if it's too much or too little, but yes, there was a lot of Russian during the lesson. Yeah. What else? What else did you notice? Apart from the dress. The level is low. Yeah, student level is low. Okay. Not necessarily they are weak as learners, but their ability, their language skills are quite low. Students can see each other because they are sitting in front of each other. This might be a good thing. Okay, so it's interesting. Pupils are well disciplined. They stand up and they answer questions. And yeah, teacher talks a lot. This is what I mean. This is how I would interpret Alex's words. Mostly teachers work. Yeah, we don't see students working much. And actually there wasn't much work at the lesson. And there was cards and there is visualization. This is a video and some type of entertainment and some question and answer, some natural-ish, but in Russian. Okay. Now, thank you for your answers. I'll go back to my criteria in a second. Before I do this, generally speaking, did you enjoy the lesson? Did you like the lesson? And if yes, give 2 reasons. Just 2 should be enough. If no, give 2 big weaknesses. If you didn't like this lesson in particular, if you think this was not a very successful lesson with this level and with this content. Well, you like siren video, and I'm asking about the lesson. It's slightly different, isn't it? The video is great, it's animated, there's cartoon, there's music. People can shake it a bit, and kids start rocking. Fun and different from traditional lessons. Okay. Okay, Alexander. Okay. It is different. That's what you like it. Okay. It's well-planned lesson, unusual topic, boring, not inspiring. Alex, okay. I would ask for more clarification, but we don't have time for that. Okay. Well-planned, interesting, motivating. Interest, okay. Level was not considered. And Maria, I assume you're saying not really. No motivation, no emotions. Okay, so effective filter is quite high. You like the video, but don't like the lesson. I understand that there's a difference between materials and the lesson. Okay. 2 rows, communication, children see each other. That's what you like. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The teacher is doing her best, trying at least 2. Okay. Okay. Thanks for that. We'll move on, and I will show you what I will show you. I will move on to my slides. I understand that for some of you, the lesson looks unusual because there's a costume, the teacher is wearing nice clothes, and the setting is quite unusual, and there is a video played, and cards, and teachers trying to entertain, motivate students. But this is not a very strong lesson as a lesson. And there are a few reasons for this. Let's take a look at a general lesson analysis plan. So if you start thinking about lessons, you might want to consider communication. This lesson didn't have much communication in English, unfortunately. So there was very little room for language production, which means cartoons or no cartoons, students didn't talk much and probably didn't work with language, unfortunately, so not much communication. Apart from that, there was very little language input. There was some in the movie, in the cartoon actually, and there was some in the handouts, but we don't know how much of this students actually understood. Possibly, this was just a guessing game for them. Did they understand what they were listening to? We don't know. Did they guess from the pictures? Probably. So we don't know much about language input. Teacher talking time here, and many of you have noted this, is enormous. She talks and talks and talks. And apart from that, this is a very teacher-centered classroom and not learner-centered classroom. A few examples. The teacher starts the lesson with a very understandable routine. What day is it today? And she does this. But why would you ask a student to recite days a week? Why would you ask a student to actually answer this question? What day is it today? Why does she need to know? To remind them days a week? Is it connected to the lesson, to India? Not really. And students, what do? They stand up, and this is not very natural type of behavior, neither in Russia nor in England, neither in India. We don't do this. And I know this is part of our culture, but this is not language related. So a lot of time basically is wasted. A level of energy sometimes is very high, but sometimes is not super high, this lesson. Pre-teaching vocabulary, nothing. She never explained words. She didn't say which words would be in the video. She tried to understand, to describe the word circle and try to somehow lead students through the questions, but she didn't explain much. And even when students were asking her, oh, tell me the elephant, sloth, she just said, okay, elephant. Students wanted to talk at some point, but they didn't have enough language. to talk to. And this shows the weakness of the lesson, actually, not very much input. There are quite a few more things which you could focus on. We had quite a few entertaining activities, and you've seen the video, but were they productive or not? Students had fun. They liked the cards, but was it language related? No. They actually liked the video, but did they understand the video? We don't know. They watched it, they enjoyed it, but was it language related? Probably no. We don't know. Apart from that, we use routines and lead-ins. It's a nice thing to do, but again, to start a lesson with their day a week or the date is probably not a good thing to do if you're trying to teach students how to communicate. Rapport is great, and clearly the teacher is very approachable, and she's very easy to go, and she wants to focus on her topic, and she's smiling, and she dressed up, and that's great. But this is not, unfortunately, enough for this classroom because the language level is very low, and to compensate this, the teacher uses the first language. So students start using Russian as well, unfortunately in this situation. In teacher-student interaction, this is yet another perspective. We clearly see that teacher talks a lot, and mainly she asks questions, and students never communicate, as you mentioned this, as you named this. And with student-teacher interaction, it doesn't happen often. In Russian, yes, but in English, no, because students only respond. They do not actually ask or they do not actually start the conversation with the teacher. So this is not both-way communication. This is one-way communication from the teacher to the students, which is understandable for this level and this age, but it doesn't make a very successful lesson, at least this one. Of course, very little student-student interaction, and nothing, literally nothing from language practice. And I will stop here, and we'll take a look at your comments. I'm not saying this lesson is terrible, but I'm saying that this is not a very well planned. Some of you said a very well planned lesson. It is not, and clearly the teacher wanted to approach the students in a nicer way, and she prepared this listening and then check and then listed animation and cartoon, and she tried to work on vocabulary at some point, but this was very little. And here comes a disclaimer. The reason why this happened, so this is not a professional teacher. And my goal was not to analyze or to criticize the teacher, but to talk about the lesson and different aspects of the lesson. And now on the screen, you see there are quite a few aspects we should start thinking about. It is not only about motivation, as you said, inspiration, as you said, or this desire to learn or to teach. It's also about mechanics of teaching. It's also about planning, strategy, rapport, level, and actually knowing the drills. We call all these aspects in one word, professionalism. So what I will do next, I will show you a different lesson. And this lesson comes from China. And this is a large classroom. And this is a British teacher. And you have pretty much the same questions. Don't worry much about good, bad, strong, weak teaching. Instead, think about students when they demonstrate interest, whether they're engaged or not, whether they participate actively or not as learners. And I mean language, not necessarily their attitude. Next, notice when they communicate in the English language. And finally, be ready to tell what else you have noticed. Okay, the same three questions and a different video. Take notes. We'll come back in a second with slides. Here it comes.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Okay, how are you? Not sleepy? Monday morning. On Monday, I'm sleepy, yeah? I think everybody is sleepy on Monday, yeah? After your mind is on the weekend, not on English class. Normal. Okay, don't worry. Do you have the letter, application letter? If you have it, can you take it? Good, good. Well done, good, good. Okay, keep the letter for 5 minutes. Because today we're going to do an interview in the job. You're going to interview somebody for the job. But wait a minute. Okay, do you remember Mr. Lee? Do you remember? What job did he apply for? Yeah, say, Sean?
Ubisoft game programmer.
Good. Ubisoft game programmer. Okay, he had experience. Well, with your partner, can you just remember what was his experience? What is his qualifications? What are his good points? Was he confident? And did he speak good English? Okay, just speaking 2, 3, 2, 2 or 3 and 2. Just remember speaking. Okay, do you remember what was his qualification, Carrie? Good. Okay, his English level? Bad or good? Good. Okay, was he confident? Do you know what I mean by confident? Am I confident? Confident. Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to listen again, and I've got some more detailed question. Mikey, can you give these out down here? And Zeppelin, can you give out 1 each? And sorry, Tom, can you give out 1 each? Okay, any idea what is number 1? What particular qualities do you think that you... Sorry, okay, Maggie, is it Maggie? Maybe have, maybe. Okay, don't write. Okay, I want you to listen to the interview, and when you hear the word, write. I think 1 space 1 word. Yeah? So number 1 is 1 word, 1 word. Tell, do. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's go.
Good morning. It's Mr. Lee, isn't it? Yes. Please come in, take a seat. Thank you. Now, Mr. Lee, yes. I see from your letter that you'd like to join our team of game producers here at Ubisoft Shanghai. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. You know, I've always been dreaming of joining a team of talents like Ubisoft.
Good. So what particular qualities do you think that you have that you can contribute to our company?
Did you get it? Let's just check it again.
You'd like...
Okay, just compare a bit. Have you got the same answers? Not bad. This is a problem, isn't it? Nobody has this one, number 7, huh? Nobody has number 7 now. Maybe that's the problem now. Yeah, this is good. 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 Okay, number 7 is difficult for everybody. Okay, yeah. Is it? I can't see. Sorry. Sean again. Sean, number 1.
What particular qualities do you think that you have that you can contribute to our company?
Good. So the words are have and contribute. Did you get that right? Can somebody spell for me contribute, Angela? Good, good. Contribute means to, yeah, it means like to give. Yeah, contribute. Okay, what about number 2? Iris, have you got that number 2?
Tell me about your qualifications.
Excellent, okay. Tell me about your qualifications. Okay, listen to my intonation. Tell me about your qualifications. Together. Good, good. Okay, number 3, maybe Laura?
Can you tell me which companies you have worked for?
Okay, excellent. You have worked for, okay? You have worked for. When we speak English quickly, you have, we say you've. So you've worked for. Which companies you've worked for? Which companies you've worked for? Together. Together. Can you tell me which companies you've worked for? Excellent. Good, good. Shirley, can you? Just repeat, can you?
Can you tell me which companies you worked for?
Excellent. Good, good. Okay.
I'm glad that you started talking about the video, but let's be a bit more systematic, I would say. So what I want you to do now, in the chat box, I want you to let me know when pupils demonstrated interest. Did you notice this? When did they demonstrate interest? Students and interest. When does this happen? Brainstorming in the very beginning, yes. Where else? Okay, in the beginning, yes. Where else? Yes, work in pairs, exactly. Where else? Actually listening, when he plays listening. Okay. Question number 2, and this is the third line. Pupils, when do they communicate actually, or do they communicate at all? When do they communicate and who with? Yes, they make up questions. They work in pairs and they check the answers. Correct, yes. And before that, they recall information. They revisit their previous lesson. Yeah, pair work. And you can see this is quite productive. Okay, yeah. Maybe in Chinese, we don't know, but it looks like it's in English, most of it. We don't know, yes, but there is, at least there is some opportunity for them. And we don't know what's happening. I accept this, but clearly. What else have you noticed? What else? A few facts. This is a big classroom, large group. What else? Native speaker, artistic. Okay. Yes, a lot of body language. The lesson looks well planned, and I think it is. And some of you was writing about the lesson plan. It's context, then revisiting, then pre-teaching, listening, checking, This is a good lesson. There is some vocabulary work, yes, some clarification, and actually some, monolingual explanation and some drills actually work on the pronunciation. Yeah, you remember that? He did that. This looks like a student-oriented lesson. He was constantly asking students, different students, what do you think? What do you think? A lot of encouragement saying very good, and a lot of rapport saying, oh, I was sleepy in the morning, Monday morning, I'm sleepy, but very quick. Extremely, yes, extremely positive and strong rapport. Okay, 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 you've named it. Yes, you noticed, yes, yeah. I agree with you 100%, yes. Would you consider this lesson a strong lesson? Would you, if yes, then give 2 reasons why you might think this is a strong lesson. If you have doubts, write about your doubts. And if you could do it in English, would be great, since we have it in English. Yes, no. But then 2 reasons why. If no, then 2 reasons why. If yes, 2 reasons why, please. Otherwise, it's either or. We teach our learners to give reasons, and I think we should teach what we preach, which means if we want to have an argument, we should probably support it with evidence. It's okay, but not impressed. Maria, this is judgmental, and I want you to give reasons. Try to avoid judgment at this stage, but give reasons. If emotionally you don't like it, I understand, but I want you to start thinking professionally. Maria, sorry, probably I missed it. Okay, there is new input. Somebody says, okay, somebody says, yes, variety of work, partners rapport. Now, Olga, thank you very much. This is a very clear explanation. I think this is a productive lesson because there is rapport, some good patterns, and a variety of interaction. Okay, and this sounds very professional to me. Okay, yeah, we have 3P, PPP presentation, etc., etc. Okay, not really because too many people, not everybody is involved. But what could teacher do in this situation? Involve everybody how? This is a bit tricky to pin down. Somebody also says, yes, this is the aim presentation, new words. We don't know what the aims were, so we can't say if we were achieved or not. Okay, discipline students, but this is again not the students, not the teacher's achievement. Okay, okay. Let's take a look at our criteria which we have looked at previously. And let's take them one by one. You remember communication, and there is a lot. Language input, oh yes. He talks a lot in English, and there is some listening, and he actually replaces his listening, the most difficult part. And when students are working and checking, he goes and actually supports this. This is also a listening lesson as the previous one. But you see, the teacher's behavior and the teacher's techniques are quite different from what we have seen before. Teacher talking time is not that big. Students communicate a lot together. I would call this a learner-centered classroom because the teacher is mostly a goalkeeper and a planner, but not just the talker. Level of energy is high, pre-teaching vocabulary is there, so it's vocabulary work, and there is some clarification, there are some drills, so it's quite productive. Activities are quite entertaining, and the teacher is entertaining. He is very active. There are some routines, there is leading, a very, very strong rapport with the students. He knows their names. If he doesn't know, there are cards, so he reads from the cards and addresses students directly, which is, I think, a good sign. And just good tone. He probably speaks some Chinese, but he never relies on this. Probably the student's level is high enough to understand him. We don't know. But teacher-student interaction is limited, although we can see a lot of his talking. Student-teacher interaction is limited when he asks questions and students give some demonstration. And there is some room for language practice, at least in the extract we've seen. And there is some language practice during the lesson. I would call this a productive lesson because clearly students were interacting in English productively, communicatively. Some of you have said, oh yeah, this is China and they have a different mindset. Some of you said, oh, this is a Brit in China, he doesn't speak Chinese, so they have no choices. Somebody says, oh, he's a white male in a Chinese environment, so he is naturally doing what he's doing. This is all true, but I think this person is professional because he knows what he's doing. And actually, everything he's done, we as teachers, we could do in our classrooms as well. Literally, every step. Exactly the same way we can't avoid Russian. And some of us hopefully do this. I do. Literally, we can create opportunities for communication as he did. And literally, we can name our students by their address, our students by their names, and make sure that we do not explain words in Russian, don't translate words, but explain them in English, even for low levels. I know for some of you this sounds challenging. I might understand, I might expect that some of you might feel a bit skeptical. So what I will do now, I will show you 4 or 5 minutes of a third lesson. And this is a lesson in the Russian classroom. That's me teaching. And the level is low, A2. And these are kids, they're 12-year-olds. And I know just 2 or 3 out of 6 who are in the classroom. So I don't know all of them, okay? I want you to take a look. Hopefully, you will be able to think about students' interests, opportunities for communication, and maybe you will notice something else, okay? And then we'll stop and I'll address your questions, if any. So this is 3 minutes of, I'll say 4 or 5 minutes of teaching. And actually the lesson would be first conditional. You will not see this because it comes later during the lesson, but this is how I start the lesson with this group. Take a look, 4 or 5 minutes. The same questions: when students demonstrate interest, when they communicate, and what else you think you could notice. Low level, pre-teens actually. Yeah, Rashka. What's your dream, Daniel? Okay, anything else? Yeah, give me another option. Maybe not today, maybe as a present, Christmas present. Okay. I'm asking about dreams. What's your dream? What is your dream? How about you? Surf where? Go surfing. Go surfing in the ocean and the sea, where? Oh, in the sea, okay. Go surfing. How about you? You want a dog? Okay, have a dog. Have a dog. Luca, give me one more dream. What? You want a dog? Yes, you want to have a dog. What do you want? To eat doshirak? Are you that hungry? You want doshirak? Okay. Doshirak. Good. How about you? Okay. Yeah, mushrooms. How about you? Okay, so eat burgers. Burger. It's a burger. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Be realistic. What do you want? Maybe a Christmas present. You to be a maybe super girl. Be a super girl. Longer what? Какое? Weekend, have a longer weekend holiday. Okay. Yeah, have long holiday. I want to invite friends to a party. I want to invite friends to a party. Okay. I want to invite friends to a party on Saturday. And I think I'll do this. Because if I... Okay, what will happen? Okay. So if I invite friends to a party, I'll make a cake. What else can I do? If I invite friends to a party, I will? I will buy balloons. Okay, what else can I do if I invite friends to a party? In the fridge, yes, I'll put Coca-Cola into the fridge. Very good. I'll make burgers. I won't buy, I'll make burgers. No, I won't like food. Okay, now, what was my first sentence? Can you remember? What did I say first? What was my first? No. If. Okay, go on. Okay. No, I. Okay. Okay. If I invite friends to a party, I'll make a cake. Let's do it together. If I invite friends to a party, I'll make a cake. If I invite friends to a party, I'll make a cake. If I invite friends to a party, I'll make a cake. Okay. This is, yes, I'll make a cake. Okay. Now, this is about past, present, or future. Yes, it is future. So it's about future. Is it realistic or unrealistic? It's very realistic. Yes, it's Saturday. Okay, so it's real. Okay, how many parts do we have in this sentence? How many parts? Yes, there are 2 parts. What are they? Okay, so this is the first part, and then we have. Okay. What tense do we have in the first part? What is this? Present. Present simple, yes. Present simple. And what is this? Future what? Future? Yes, future simple. Okay. So if I invite friends to a party, I'll make a cake. If Luca plays Kahoot, Luca? If I
play Kahoot,
okay, maybe here it's cool. Okay. We'll stop here with this video, and I want you to give a few comments in the chat box. What did you notice, and what do you think? And again, the starting point would be students' interests, their communication, and what type of communication, and what else did you notice apart from the whiteboard? Yes, it's not just the whiteboard, it's the wall, white wall, and you can write in this. But apart from that, clearly I could do this, and I do this on the green board as well. Okay? Do let me know. What else did you notice? Mm-hmm. At the end, there is a warmer, and I explain the rule. I apply the English language, not Russian, and actually this is a grammar construction. Yeah. Level is quite low, actually. Luca was at that stage quite a weak student. Was what more than a year ago, so the level would be A2. Yeah, there are a few stages, and of course I collect information from students. And if you want to finish to see how I finished the lesson, you should probably watch the video. It's online. And see why I collected these ideas from students, and I had a reason for this. Many of you have already guessed, but some of you might want to double check it. Yeah, students are involved not because they are interested per se, but because I keep pulling the strings. Yeah. A lot of teacher talking time at this stage because this is presentation stage, and I accept that. That's true. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. Some of you had a few comments, and we're nearly finished for today. But just to wrap it up, some of you had comments saying, oh yeah, but this is Spotlight, and this is China, and this is so much different. I think language teaching and community language teaching does not depend on the book you have. It actually depends on the skills you have and what you do. Spotlight doesn't have much Russian. So why should teachers use Russian when teaching with Spotlight? And I've used Spotlight and Starlight as well, but I don't typically speak Russian with my students. So I would start thinking about a communicative lesson, a productive lesson, when students have a lot of output in the English language, a lot of new language, not from the teacher, but from the student. And we've talked about quite a few different aspects of communicative language teaching and learning. And also communicative teaching is like building up a bridge. So it's bridging gaps and helping the learner to acquire new information, to learn new phrases, develop new skills. And this not necessarily comes through cognitive skills. Sometimes it comes through practice and through exposure, which also would be important. And I will finish with a few questions which you might ask me. So if you have any questions in Russian or in English, go ahead, fire away. If you have a microphone, we could listen to your voice. If you want to say, just let me know in the chat box. What are your questions? I do not have a presentation, but I think you will have a video, so there should be enough. And one piece of advice for those who would like to be a better teacher, I would say observe good teaching. I would say this, observe different practices. Yes, Mariana, what's your question? Go ahead. Если есть вопросы, коллеги, задайте сейчас самое время. И пока вы еще не разошлись, я вам сообщу следующее. И для меня это важно. Если вам интересно поучиться, и кто-то из вас спрашивал, то это можно сделать онлайн на тренингах Boxit, которые провожу я вместе с Наташей Белоусовой. Наверняка вы про такую слыхали. Если нет, то погуглите. И приходите, будет интересно и в ближайшие выходные, и через выходные. А еще вы можете вот эти все видео посмотреть по ссылке, это совершенно бесплатно. У меня на сайте и на YouTube-канале. Также можно посмотреть на онлайн-тренинге. Ну и скачать себе тренажер ЕГЭ, если вы к этому ЕГЭ готовите. Это тоже совершенно бесплатно. Есть для Android, есть для iOS. Называется ЕГЭ-жим. Вот такое мероприятие. Это устная часть ЕГЭ только. И идея в том, что ваш ученик может записать голосовое и отправить вам сразу в мессенджер, в WhatsApp, либо в Facebook, либо куда-то там еще, возможно, даже и в Telegram. Поэтому берите на здоровье, пользуйтесь, если вам интересно. А сейчас у вас есть время для вопросов. Я смотрю, есть вопросы. Можно ли работать по пособиям, не учебникам City Stars? Я не знаю, что такое City Stars, и, если честно, мне не важно, какой учебник. Я беру то, что предлагает администрация, и вот то, что есть у учеников, и с этим работаю. А если у меня есть ученики, то я уже выбираю то, что подходит и интересно ученикам под возраст и, конечно же, уровень. Потому что не обязательно ваш Spotlight 10 подойдет вашему 10-класснику. Возможно, ему надо что-то попроще. И у меня был такой опыт, когда в 10 классе я вел занятия одновременно по Spotlight 7 и Spotlight 10. Извините. Вопрос. How long have you been teaching? I've been teaching for about 15 years, I think, non-stop. I got my CELTA 13 years ago. My Delta 6 years ago. Became a CELTA trainer a couple of years ago. Я не берусь рекомендовать учебники со 2 по 11 класса, потому что все эти классы совершенно разные. И, повторюсь, мне не очень важно, какие есть учебники. Обычно я беру какие-то линейки иностранные, если это возможно в этой школе. И такое бывает возможно. Бывает и нет, тогда работаю с тем, что есть. Но поскольку есть у всех интернет сейчас, почти у всех есть интернет, я знаю, что не у всех, но то я бы использовал интернет для того, чтобы развивать учеников. Не для того, чтобы готовиться к занятиям, а чтобы вот они много смотрели, много слушали. Мне кажется, роль учителя перестала, уже давно не сводится к роли знатока, как это было 20 лет назад или там 100 лет назад. А теперь это фасилитатор, человек, который находит что-то интересное и заставляет ученика или показывает ученику, где бы это могло быть. Кто-то говорит, что студенты озлобляются, когда вы говорите по-английски. Ну да, наверное, не привыкли поначалу. Но я думаю, что с этим можно как-то поработать или поговорить с ними по-русски, почему они так перестраиваются. Я не знаю физически, можно ли работать по учебникам, не входящим в федеральный перечень. Я не тот человек, который знает полностью все тонкости использования учебных материалов. Я знаю, что с директорами можно договариваться, когда два пишем, одно в уме. Я про это слыхал. Actually, yes, I speak English with beginners, and this group you've seen, the fifth grade at that stage, I taught them the year before, and they were, what, 10, 11-ish, and they were beginners. Для учителей в качестве занятия со своим уровнем, я думаю, что надо погружаться, и сейчас это очень легко делать при помощи интернета. Вот, например, у меня приложение для тренировок, ну, каких-то воркаутов, оно на английском, либо телефон у меня, все settings на английском, или компьютер у меня на английском. Вот начинайте, наверное, с этого, но дальше смотрите все только на английском, и наверняка что-то уже проявится. Я отчасти добился этого, хотя я поздно начал, но я жил год в Америке, и это сильно меня изменило. I find my inspiration in teaching and teacher training when I see that my knowledge and my skills are well accepted and well received by the learners or the audience. I get the kicks out of it. Вопрос про большие группы, спрашивает Анна Соболева. Я не работал с очень большими группами, но я вел занятия на, наверное, там тренинги на 30 человек. Ну, сложно, да, но это не языковые занятия. Мне кажется, здесь сложно. Самый мой непростой способ, непростая ситуация, в которой мы все оказываемся как учителя в России. Ситуация была такая, когда я вел занятия, группа была 16 человек, и кто-то из них вообще не знал английский, а кто-то сдал first certificate, на 90, кто-то сдал ЕГЭ через год на 99. И вы понимаете, да, кто-то еле читал, поэтому тот уровень был совершенно разный, и это было самое сложное, мне кажется. Ольга, спасибо большое за комментарии, очень приятно, что приходите. Тренажер составлен мной, да, я составляю тренажер, он не идеальный, пока переработать не могу, но то, что есть, ученикам нравится, и пока примерно такого же функционала я нигде не встречал. Only English. Flower power, Dina. Only English power. Наталья, спасибо за ссылки, которые вы нашли в интернете и сразу же скинули в чат. Спасибо. Коллеги, спасибо большое, что пришли. Я знаю, что уже люди расходятся. Если есть еще пару каких-то вопросов, то задайте. Если нет, то удачи вам в нашем нелегком труде. И, конечно же, у нас сейчас вроде бы все зумифицировано и онлайн. Но, видите, последняя неделька осталась, и потом, может, передохнуть дадут. ЕГЭ, говорят, перенесли на конец июня. ОГЭ вообще отменяют, поэтому можно немножечко выдохнуть, поучиться самим. Поэтому удачи вам, здоровья и профессиональных сил.